Today is July 2nd, 2025, and this is Read Through the Bible.
And today's a special day in the life of your family.
It is. So my parents, I think, usually listen to this podcast, and today is my dad's birthday. So happy birthday, Dad.
Yep. And we've been sharing every day what we've been doing on our trip, and today we're traveling home.
Yes.
We are leaving this morning, and we will get home in the evening from Washington, D.C. It's just like a 12-hour drive. Mm-hmm. So we'll do it. Plus, we gain an hour because we're going west.
Right. But a recap of yesterday.
Yep.
We went to the Washington National Cathedral, which is the second largest cathedral in the United States.
Second to St. John.
St. John's, I think, in New York City.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing I learned from that is that the people of the church are just into the building.
And it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but their focus is the building. And the tour guide is a member there and didn't mention anything about the gospel. It's all about
No, that's not what the church is about.
Spiritual getting together in community. Yeah. But it was beautiful. And then we went to Mount Vernon.
Yes, which is the plantation home of George Washington.
The thing that struck me there was just how wealthy George Washington was.
Amazing.
In fact, you looked it up, and he is...
Yeah, he's recorded as the second wealthiest president of the United States.
Yeah, behind Trump.
Yeah.
And but not only was he wealthy, he was very capable. I mean,
in many areas.
Yeah, and we actually even saw like a little video of kind of reenacting the crossing the Delaware and just his courageous generalship leadership in war, and he was an amazing guy.
Led to decisive victories.
Yeah, so just a very gifted father of our country. Very thankful for him. Okay, but today we are reading two chapters, Deuteronomy chapter 26 and chapter 27, and we're sort of transitioning to the end of Moses' sermons here, what he's speaking to the people. Even in 26 can even end this whole time about the law, right? Remember Deuteronomy 4, 7, and 8 that just says about what a great God we have and what a great law we have.
Right.
And so we've been going through the law, and the law sort of ends at the end of chapter 26, and then 27 begins to transition to just principalizing what things are happening and what to do when entering the land.
Yeah.
Okay,
here we go. Chapter 26, verse 1. When you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance, and have taken possession of it and live in it, you shall take some of the first of all the fruit of the ground which you harvest from your land that the Lord your God is giving you, and you shall put it in a basket, and you shall go to the place that the Lord your God will choose, there's that place again, to make his name to dwell there. And you shall go to the priest who is in the office at that time and say to him, I declare today to the Lord your God, I declare today to the Lord your God that I have come into the land that the Lord swore to our fathers to give us. Then the priest shall take the basket from your hand and set it down before the altar of the Lord your God.
And you shall make response before the Lord your God. A wandering Aramean was my father, Abraham. And he went down into Egypt and sojourned there, few in number, like 70, and there he became a nation, great, mighty, and populous. And the Egyptians treated us harshly and humiliated us, and laid on us hard labor. Then we cried to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our voice and saw our affliction, our toil, and our oppression. And the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great deeds of terror, with signs and wonders. And he brought us into this land, and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And behold, now I bring the first of the fruit of the ground, which you, O Lord, have given me, and you shall set it down before the Lord your God, and worship before the Lord your God. And you shall rejoice in all the good that the Lord your God has given you, and to your house, you and the Levite and the sojourner who is among you.
Okay, verse 12. When you have finished paying all the tithe of your produce in the third year, which is the year of tithing, giving it to the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, so that they may eat within your towns and be filled, then you shall say before the Lord your God. Here's an important prayer.
Yeah, here's a prayer that Moses told the Israelites to pray. I have removed the sacred portion out of my house, and moreover I have given it to the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, according to all your commandment that you have commanded me. I have not transgressed any of your commandments, nor have I forgotten them. I have not eaten of the tithe while I was mourning, or removed any of it while I was unclean, or offered any of it to the dead. I have obeyed the voice of the Lord my God. I have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven, and bless your people Israel, and the ground that you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey.
Then here Moses sums up so much of what he's been teaching them. He says in verse 16, this day the Lord your God commands you to do these statutes and rules. You shall therefore be careful to do them with all your heart and with all your soul. You have declared today that the Lord is your God, and that you will walk in his ways and keep his statutes and his commandments and his rules, and will obey his voice. And the Lord has declared today that you are a people for his treasured possession, as he has promised you, and that you are to keep all his commandments, and that he will set you in praise and in fame and in honor high above all nations that he has made, and that you shall be a people holy to the Lord your God, as he promised.
Yep, so here we're talking about entering the land and to offer up the first fruits, and really then to offer up your hearts. Like maybe that's a good summary as well.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that right now, that's not what I have written down, but offer the first fruits and offer your hearts would be really good, what that it's about. Okay, and now in chapter 27, there seems to be a break here in some regards. This is just something that they're supposed to do with all the people, sort of a ritual, like on the day when they enter the land, is that they're supposed to set up people on Mount Ebal and on Mount Gerizim, and on Mount Gerizim offer up blessings, and on Mount Ebal offer up cursings. And they actually did this. If you go to Israel today, back then, Shechem, which is right in the middle of the land where they came and crossed the Jordan, to the, I think it was south is Mount Gerizim, and to the north is Mount Ebal. I could be wrong. But these are like hills, large hills, that kind of stood there, and Shechem was right at the bottom of both of these. It would have made this big, stark contrast between these places.
Yeah, and then they actually did this
in Joshua
8.
Yep. Okay, so you remember this when we get to Joshua 8 sometime in the future here. Now Moses and the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep the whole commandment that I command you today, and on the day you cross over the Jordan to the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall set up large stones and plaster them with plaster. And they did that as well. They set up 12 stones in the middle of the Jordan, and then on the west side of the Jordan, just in stones of remembrance. And you shall write on them all the words of this law when you cross over to enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you. And when you've crossed over the Jordan, you shall set up these stones concerning which I command you today on Mount Ebal, and you shall plaster them with plaster, and there you shall build an altar to the Lord your God, an altar of stones. And you shall wield no iron tool on them, and you shall build an altar to the Lord your God of uncut stones, and you shall offer burnt offerings on it to the Lord your God, and you shall sacrifice peace offerings, and shall eat there. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, and you shall write on the stones all the words of the law very plainly. So I guess this is in addition to the 12 stones that they set up as a pillar. This is like another altar that they are setting up to offer sacrifices on.
Yeah,
different than the sacrifices they offered in the tabernacle.
Okay, verse 9. Then Moses and the Levitical priests said to all Israel, keep silence and hear, O Israel. This day you have become the people of the Lord your God. You shall therefore obey the voice of the Lord your God, keeping his commandments and his statutes, which I command you today.
That day Moses charged the people, saying, when you have crossed over the Jordan, these shall stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people. This is what we're talking about. On Mount Gerizim, you bless the people. Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And these shall stand on Mount Ebal for the curse: Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. And the Levites shall declare to all the men of Israel in a loud voice. Now it's interesting here, we don't know the blessings, but here are the cursings that should be given. Verse 15.
Cursed be the man who makes a carved or cast metal image, an abomination to the Lord, a thing made by the hands of a craftsman, and sets it up in secret. And all the people shall answer and say, Amen.
Cursed be anyone who dishonors his father or his mother. And all the people shall say, Amen.
Cursed be anyone who moves his neighbor's landmark. And all the people shall say, Amen.
Amen. Cursed be anyone who misleads a blind man on the road. And all the people shall say, Amen.
Cursed be anyone who perverts the justice due to the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow. And all the people shall say, Amen.
It's almost like they're agreeing to the curses for disobeying the law.
Yes, like we agree. We agree.
Yeah.
We agree.
Cursed be anyone who lies with his father's wife, because he has uncovered his father's nakedness. And all the people shall say, Amen.
Cursed be anyone who lies with any kind of animal. And all the people shall say, Amen.
Cursed be anyone who lies with his sister, whether the daughter of his father or the daughter of his mother. And all the people shall say, Amen.
Cursed be anyone who lies with his mother-in-law. And all the people shall say, Amen.
Cursed be anyone who strikes down his neighbor in secret. And all the people shall say,
Amen. Cursed be anyone who takes a bribe to shed innocent blood. And all the people shall say,
Amen. Cursed be anyone who does not confirm the words of this law by doing them. And all the people shall say, Amen. That last one. Cursed be anyone who does not confirm the words of this law by doing them.
It kind of sums up.
Oh, my goodness.
Covers everything.
Yeah, and Israel, by and large, they were not keeping the words of this law. I mean, it just showed how all of Israel then, in not obeying, was cursed because they didn't obey the words of the law. You're looking something up.
I was thinking of James 2:10.
Yeah, if anyone
for whoever keeps the whole law but falls in one point has become guilty of all of it.
Yeah, and these guys fell in many, many points of the law. They became guilty of the law. But this is the gospel right here, is that, yes, they all were lawbreakers, but God was gracious to forgive those who cry out to Him, and eventually brought a Messiah to forgive the sins of Israel. He offered sacrifices which would do that. He's just extending His love towards these disobedient people who were under the curse of God. We saw that a couple days ago, right? Cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree, and Christ became the curses for us.
Right.
That's the truth, the gospel that we rejoice in.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
All right. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye.